I'd like to call the March 2018 meeting of the Board of Education to order. First item, invocation. Ms. Etheridge.
Good evening. Alone. Susan sat alone in her classroom eating her lunch as she did every day. The only sound was the clicking of the ceiling fan, which was the only means of relief on this sticky May day. Her students loved their innovative and creative teacher. She could turn mundane facts into lessons of real-life intrigue. She could motivate unwilling children in a single year. And when she was nominated Teacher of the Year, no one was surprised. But just like Superman, this super teacher felt very much alone amongst her colleagues. Susan was not the only exceptional teacher at her school. She was just the one who gained the most attention. Attention from the local media, attention from supervisors, and from students' parents. Then why does she dine alone each day? Peer jealousy? It infects even the best of schools. It can destroy healthy relationships and kill morale. How do you reverse its effects? One way is by teaching outside of yourself to others. Another way is to esteem others above yourself. You can't create a shared vision by being a lone ranger. Remember to include others in your plans, and they will remember to include you. If building yourself up is tearing others down, then it's time to rethink your priorities. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'll introduce Principal Kelly Flora from Jarvisburg Elementary School, who will introduce the person who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening. I would like to introduce Jim Catfish Hunter, a.k.a. James Morris, to lead us in the pledge tonight.
All right. Would everyone please rise?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Catfish. Good evening, Dr. Dobney, Mr. Stefanik, and the board. Tonight, JES is in the spotlight, and what better way to introduce it than with a poem? The end of the school is in sight. The end is almost here. So what better time than now to review Jarvisburg Elementary School's past year? So much to celebrate, so much to applaud. To narrow down our event tonight, well, it's really just too broad. To the school board members and all here tonight, we've decided to showcase our school in a much different light. A movie, you say? Yes, we're on the big screen. So watch it all play out, scene by scene. Coming attractions and what we've done since day one. Sit back, relax, and let's have some fun. If you have any questions after the show, I have student experts here to keep you in the know. So now I'll stop talking without further ado. Please enjoy Jarvisburg's year in review.
Hi, my name is Sydney. I am here to talk about the Leader of the Month luncheons. I was selected for the Leader of the Month luncheons because I was chosen for demonstrating one of the 7 habits in class. What I liked about the Leader of the Month luncheon is that we had got pizza and ice cream and we got to choose our own toppings. I think it is important to have Leader of the Month luncheons because it encourages others to try their best in class.
spoken, and I really enjoyed reading night because I got to meet the author Ginger Clark. Hi, my name's James. I was James Catfish Hunter in the Wax Museum. The Wax Museum is a great thing to do to learn more about yourself, and it's one of those activities where it's just so great you can't really explain it. But I loved being able to dress up and give speeches. I think it is important to this school because it is a great way of education and a way to teach others.
Hi, my name is Ashton. I was Dolly Madison in the Wax Museum. I could participate in this activity because I really like Dolly Madison and she inspired me to really become her character. I really like the fun of this activity because you can not only learn about the character but act it out and dress up as the character. I think it is important to have this in school because it's a very good education and you can learn a lot and it's also very fun.
Hi, my name is Anna, and I like Miss North Carolina because she's beautiful and smart, and she read us a book about green eggs and ham.
Good morning, Jaguars, and welcome to today's edition of the Jaguar News from your news station, WJags. Hi, my name is Danica.
Hello, my name is Bella, and I'm going to tell you about STEAM Night. I really loved how the computer teacher made this marshmallow cannon. She used popsicle sticks and a plastic spoon, and we had to try and shoot them into a bucket. And I love coding because we have to use a bunch of our skills and learn about how to code a person to get to the right place. No, nothing else.
Hi, my name's Maddie, and I love going to Ag Day because I learned about life cycles, and I learned about plants, and I like to go fishing there. Hi, my name is Emma, and I liked Ag Day because we got to shoot bows and arrows, and we got to learn about honeybees, and we got to learn about wildlife animals.
Hi, my name is Madison, and a thing that I learned at Ag Day is I learned how police dogs, how they work, and about the plants. I really love Battle of the Books because I got to go to a new school called Griggs. I've never been there and it was a great experience for me to have. Not just going to Griggs was a great experience, but reading all 10 of the books was too. I think this should go on in schools very often because it expands vocabulary and much more than that. I think that you should read Wish by Barbara O'Connor because it gives off a great story about how Charlie and her family wasn't able to live together because it wasn't that stable. I also love writing the questions because it gave me a good example of how to how to summarize the book and how to really put the theme of it and all the connections to it. I think it is important to have this in schools because it is a really great learning experience.
I like Battle of the Books because it was one of my favorite activities in school. My favorite book was Lost Within Lost by Nature because it is a wonderful mystery book and it has tons of historical facts and similes and metaphors. And my favorite part about Battle of the Books is we got to go to a new school and it was a very fun field trip. And this is why I like Battle of the Books.
My name is Elena.
My name is Ellen.
And this is the Battle of the Books team.
Hi, my name is Bryce and I participated in the science field trip inside of our school. What I loved about it is that we learned about wind turbines and how they can move faster. I learned that they move, it's better if they move or if they are shaped a different way, and how they are shaped a different way makes them move faster.
Hi, my name is Chandler and I participated in the in-house science program about wind turbines. What I loved about it was that we got to build our own wind turbine and we also got to see plankton. I liked the plankton because they were small and you could only see them with the microscope, and I liked the wind turbines because one, we did win, and two, it was really fun to play with the team.
Hello, my name is Austin. I like the Shark Tank part at the aquarium. I learned the biggest shark is the whale shark. It helps me in class so I can do, when we do research projects on sea creatures, I know what to put in what they're about.
My name's Barrett. I like the otters, and I learned that they can go, when they go under, they can go really fast and they can swim on their bellies.
Hi, my name's Jacob and I love the aquarium because I got to see the sea otters and they could swim really fast in the water, and when people came by them, they tapped on the glass.
So that's our year in review packed into 12 minutes. I'm so proud of these kiddos. They are amazing. So if you all have any questions, like I said, I have a panel of experts here waiting to answer anything that you may have to ask.
Questions? How about each one of them come up front, have them say their name and what grade they're in?
Sure thing. Okay, start. Right here.
My name is Elena, and I'm in 4th grade.
My name's Madison, and I am in 3rd grade.
My name's Nate, and I'm in 5th grade.
My name's Ben, and I'm in 5th grade.
My name is James. I'm in 4th grade.
Thank you very much.
Tonight, I would like to thank my faculty, staff, parents, and students for coming out tonight and supporting JES. And special thanks to Elizabeth Keenan for putting our beautiful video together. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda, and I'd like to switch item F and G. F is a student board member report, and G is recognition of departing student school board members.
I'd like to pull out 6 from the consent agenda. That would be the capital outlay budget.
Okay.
Oh, 6. Right here.
Okay, had 2 changes. Do I have a motion for approval of the agenda now?
I so move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Next, public comment session. We have one person that signed up, Abby Rose. Abby, if you would come up and give your name once again and your address.
My name is Abby Rose, and my address is 212 Pointers Road, Moyock, North Carolina. Good evening, Superintendent Stefanik and board members. I am a sophomore at Currituck County High School, and I am involved in the Ag program. I am secretary of the Currituck FFA chapter and secretary of the Northeast Regional FFA. I enjoy my ag classes, and I can't even begin to tell you all that I have learned about horticulture, animal science, and ag mechanics in just 2 years. These are by far my favorite classes, which has led me to my decision to pursue a career path in agriculture. I recently visited NC State to learn more about an agriculture career, possibly in ag education or ag business. While we have a great ag program at Currituck, I feel there are a couple things that would really give students an even better learning experience. I'm here to ask you for 2 items. I'm sure you're wondering what these items are. It's not the teachers. We already have the best, Miss Swain and Mr. Meads. What we really need is a barn and a greenhouse. These 2 items would definitely provide students with more hands-on learning. The 3-ring model for agricultural education is SAE, Supervised Agricultural Experience, FFA, and Classroom. With these new facilities, we could provide more SAE and classroom opportunities for students to not just learn about different types of animals, but also how to care for them. I know with having the room, we could have more farm animals for Animal Science 1, more small animals for Animal Science 2, and larger animals for Animal Science 3. Whether that be a lamb or a duck or even a cow, our current greenhouse is in less than desirable shape. Do you know our current greenhouse was the original greenhouse at JP Knapp? It moved to its original location in 1976, when the current middle school opened as a high school. If we had a newer educational greenhouse, we could really expand our horticulture program and grow it to be even bigger and better than it is now. I know it is budget time, And I'm told the commissioners put capital outlay money away each year for the schools. I'm not sure how much money is there, but I can't think of anything that would provide more learning experiences for us, the students, than a barn and a greenhouse. I am here tonight to ask for your support for a barn and a greenhouse at Currituck County High School. Thank you.
Thank you. Abby, I will definitely consider your request as long as you don't buy any more chickens.
Okay.
One of their chickens chased me all around the back area back there.
Dr. Domney, that's the rooster. Yeah, I think you need more time in ag, so
Oh,
you
look,
know the
it-
difference between a
it
rooster and a
was the
chicken. Okay. You didn't mention the pig when you mentioned the barn.
Well, we
Does
do.
he get to go in there too?
Yes, he does.
Okay, so
Carter
you have to
Finley,
stay
of
outside.
course.
Okay, I like the pig. I like the pig.
Yeah, he's very sweet when he wants to be.
Do you have any estimates on costs by any chance?
I know an educational greenhouse could range from about 60,000, and that's with everything that we would need for that. And I know a barn, I was looking at it yesterday with Mr. Monroe, and we were looking at like a metal structure barn, and that can range anywhere from 8 to 12,000. So it just, all the little costs that would go into it would really, we just have to look more into it and just kind of throw what we can do into it.
I've talked to Mr. Monroe a couple times in the last year, and we talked about possibly approaching Sun Energy,
Yes.
who is in this big solar panel development area up there, to see if they would be willing to donate some money towards a greenhouse. Barn, I've never talked to him about, but we're willing to discuss this. And
Yes, sir. We talked about that yesterday about Sun Energy maybe coming into play with that. That would be a great opportunity for us to really learn more about that.
And Dr. Dobney, I also mentioned to Mr. Monroe that we're in the middle of the, I call it the Beehive project at JP Knapp and through their science program. And one of the extensions of the Beehive program is supposed to be a greenhouse. So I asked the partner at the extension agency if the greenhouse had to be where the beehive was, and they said not necessarily. So if as long as we're looking at partners, we might be able to partner the two high schools together, and maybe the greenhouse could be at the high school, and it would be an offshoot of the Beehive project at JP Knapp.
What size barn are you considering?
We were looking at, it was something by like 42. I can't remember the exact estimate. I had it written down and just didn't bring it with me, but it would be enough room for us to put at least 8 or so stalls in it, and then have extra rooms on the side to put in like our hay and our feed and just other things in there to keep.
And, with budgets the way they are, with Jeff Rhodes' class, they used to build a spec home and then auction it off. I was just wondering if that could be hands-on for our students to build a barn and then maybe get the lumber donated and look at that for the barn. I don't know if they could do anything with the help with the greenhouse. That looks like a bigger
Yes, ma'am.
expense. But at least with the barn, depending on the dimensions of that may be something we could partner with our students and teachers and our community and make that a reality.
I think that would be a great idea to get everyone involved into that.
it's a good idea, Karen.
Is there enough room behind the classroom area back there for the barn?
There is not. I know that there is, I think, a septic system there. I was told. We were thinking more out in the back, near like the hunter safety range maybe, or the land right beside the hunter safety range maybe being purchased, just to, because there is no more room right behind the ag building, just with their track field and all those
Right.
practices.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Any more questions?
No.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Abby.
Thank you.
Okay, the next three items are student recognitions. If the school board and student board members would join me down front.
Dr. Dobney, members of the board, Mr. Stefanik, I'd like to introduce Mr. Todd Parker, Currituck County High School Athletic Director.
Good evening, Mr. Stefanik, Dr. Dobney, and members of the school board. Tonight with me, I have three young ladies, Bailey Twyford, Brittany Tyndall, and Sarah Conley. These young ladies were members of our fall women's golf team at Currituck High School. On October 16th, they competed in Goldsboro, North Carolina, and won the 2A East Regional Championship by 36 strokes. They topped this the next week when they competed at the North Carolina High School State Championship at Longleaf Golf Course. They won Currituck High School's first ever 2A state championship and our first state championship since 1993. At this time, I'd like to ask them to come around and shake hands with each member of the board, not only in appreciation for you guys having us here tonight, but so they can show off their state championship rings. The rings that they're wearing were bought by various donors throughout the Currituck County school systems, or throughout Currituck County. Coach Dan O'Boyle unfortunately could not be here tonight, but he does send his thanks for this recognition. So on behalf of Currituck High School, Coach O'Boyle and myself, we'd like to congratulate the girls. And again, thank you for having us here tonight. Yes. It was community members throughout that donated the rings. We went through, a little like a letter campaign, just kind of asking for help. But we had realtors from Howard Hanna, we had Pete Odom, Casey Schmidt from Farm Bureau, and the Women's Club and Joanna Brumsey all helped us purchase those rings. So, I'm sorry. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Thank you for having us tonight.
Okay, next item. Stouty will recognize the Moorhead King Scholarship recipient.
Good evening, Dr. Dobney, members of the board, and Superintendent Stefanik. Each year, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill awards the prestigious Moorhead Cane to an incoming freshman based on 4 criteria: leadership, character, scholarship, and physical vigor. Applicants progress through 5 distinct stages as part of the selection process. Only 20% of applicants are even selected to become semifinalists. Once a semifinalist, candidates complete a face-to-face interview. 130 finalists are then identified and invited to the campus as part of a final selection weekend. From there, slightly more than half of the finalists are actually awarded the scholarship. This year, 79 scholars were awarded the Moorhead Cane Scholarship. 43 of those were from North Carolina, and 36 from around the country and world. The Moorhead Cane Scholarship covers all expenses for 4 years of undergraduate study to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. It also features a summer enrichment experience each summer during the 4 years where scholars have the opportunity to complete an outdoor leadership course, commit themselves to public service in the U.S. and abroad, conduct research at sites around the world, and gain experience in private enterprise. The estimated value of the scholarship for an in-state student is approximately $80,000. Since the scholarship began in 1945, Currituck County has had 3 students to receive the Moorhead Cane Scholarship: Randy Harvey in 1977, Stephanie Evans in 2001, and this year it is my honor to recognize the 3rd Currituck County senior to receive the Moorhead Cane Scholarship. CCHS senior Marley Walls joins the Moorhead class of 2022. Marley, if you'll come up. Marley's accomplishments while at CCHS are numerous. Her resume may even outshine most of us in this room right now. A 4-year member of the competition cheer squad, active member in the student government organization, and Beta Cub president, and I could go on and on. As a Tar Heel, Marley plans to pursue a degree or degrees in biomedical engineering and perhaps computer science, or perhaps both. I'm beyond proud of this young woman, and I know her parents, Phil and Jody, are as well. And nothing makes me happier than getting to see her dad have to proudly sport a Carolina Blue t-shirt. Again, it's my pleasure to congratulate Miss Marley Walls on being the third Currituck County School senior to be awarded the prestigious Moorhead Kane Scholarship to attend the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill next year. Marley, on behalf of Currituck County Schools, congratulations. Absolutely. Show off that Carolina Blue t-shirt. Come on. We're going to take your picture too. Parents, grandparents, all that. Come on. All right, Mom, you stand right in the middle and let them get on both sides of it. I know. All right, Grandma and Grandpa, you get on this side of her, and then I'll let Phil and Jody stand on this side of her. You stay in the middle like Mom and Dad on this side. There we go. All right, there's a big group. All right, yeah, there you go, Jenna. Thank you. Now I can see you. All right, on three. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Full ride. That's what you say, Dad. Full ride. All right, good job.
Okay, so you were asked a lot of questions in that.
Yes, I was.
What was the most difficult or most unusual question?
Ooh, see, that's a tough one because there were a lot of them. Something that I guess I didn't expect was they asked a lot about classes that were hard for me, which going in, I mean, they know that all the candidates are ones who try really hard in school and achieve really high grades, so it was kind of weird to have to talk about classes that I don't like because usually in interviews they want to know what you're good at, not what you're bad at, so that was a little weird.
Was it last summer or summer before you spent your summer at the Naval Academy?
That was 2 summers ago. Yes.
Did she have a wide range of experience? Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you.
And next, our recognition of our outgoing student board members. First, Tyler. He's going to NC State. Okay, this plaque is presented to Tyler Little, student board member, JP Knapp Early College, 2016-2018. An appreciation for proudly serving and representing the students of the Currituck County Schools. Presented by the Board of Education, Currituck County, May 3rd, 2018. Tyler, congratulations. Thank you.
Come back up and just come forward. That way I can see it while you're standing there.
Okay, this plaque is presented to Jenna Akers, student board member, Currituck County High School, 2016-2018. Appreciation for proudly serving and representing the students of Currituck County Schools. Presented by the Currituck County Board of Education, May 3rd, 2018. Before I give you this plaque, I just want to thank you for being one of the most active student board members we've ever had. Just want to say Jenna took it upon herself to investigate the possibility of what she could do as a student board member to provide greater safety in our schools. And she and Matt Leifer, the chief deputy, made a presentation at the board. Was it 2 board meetings? I think so. Yeah. And we're going to take that suggestion to heart. So you're probably going to help make a lot of the students more safe in Currituck. Thanks once again.
Let me present her suggestion at the safety committee. We call it the Jenna lock for the doors. So the name might just catch on here in Currituck.
Thank you both once again. Oh, yeah, that one. Okay.
All the way against the wall when I put it in there,
It's
so nobody can
okay.
get back. You'd have to hurdle all the chairs.
It's just really nice to see how well our student board members do. Oh, and by the way, you're going to Chapel Hill, right?
Yes, sir.
Great, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, Tyler, what do you plan on taking up at NC State?
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
And Jenna, what are you going to take up at,
I'm majoring in peace, war, and defense, so government, I guess. Kind of.
oh, wow.
We might be seeing each other.
Maybe.
Great. I always thought you would go into like TV production or something with that radio voice.
On the side, right?
Okay, next item, student board member reports. Jenna?
All right, we're going to start out with Moyoc Middle. On April 26, Moyoc Middle School was recognized as an official FFA chapter and had approximately 16 students sign the FFA charter. The event was sponsored by the current state FFA officers and a representative of North Carolina State University, Farm Bureau, and Duncan Farms. In addition, the Beta Club raised more than $350 as a donation to the Currituck House, and our track team brought home 2 trophies to finish the track season. We are also excited to announce that our school improvement team, curriculum coach, guidance counselor, and several 8th grade students have joined together to create an online informational video on EOG testing tips for parents. The video will be on our school homepage and school Facebook page next week. From Currituck County High School. At Currituck County High School, we had just a well-attended, beautiful prom. We are thankful for the prom committee and that our students were able to enjoy the prom and get back home safely. We are proud to announce that our number 1 referral for this year is positive referrals. We had 314 positive referrals written so far this year. We have given out movie passes and are excited to say that we have run out. As we look forward to the end of the year, we have AP testing coming up beginning next week and multiple award programs, banquets, and sporting events. Please take the time to come and celebrate with us. From JP Knapp Early College. We had 4 students competing in the state math competition today, and rumor has it one of our students placed in the top 10 in the state. Mr. Chuck Martin has been selected by the NC Council on the Holocaust to attend a conference at the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. in July. The first annual JP Knapp Scholarship Scramble Golf Tournament will take place at the Carolina Club this Saturday. Proceeds benefit the JP Knapp Early College Scholarship Fund, which is presented by the staff to one of the early college's graduates each year. Thanks to all the support from our local church partners, the baccalaureate will be held in the Media Center on Sunday at 6 p.m. Next week is Teacher Appreciation Week at JP Knapp, and we are planning some big events to show our teachers how much they mean to our students. The SGO will present the Festival of Festivals to coincide with Teacher Appreciation Week with a theme for each day. The College of the Albemarle will hold their graduation ceremonies on Wednesday, May 9th at 6 p.m. in the Performing Arts Center on the COA campus in Elizabeth City. JP Knapp's Senior Awards Night will be held on Tuesday, May 15th in the JP Gym starting at 6 p.m. JP Knapp graduation will take place on Friday, May 18th, beginning at 7 p.m. As honored guests, the board members will receive their personalized invitations next week containing all the information. And with that, I turn it over to Keelan.
Thank you, Jenna. So next up, we have Central Elementary. So Central Elementary won their Battle of the Books competition. We're so proud of them. they had a great turnout at their All Set for K meeting and are looking forward to their new Eagle leaders joining the nest. Their students competed in their annual field days this past month, and they're looking forward to May, with students expanding their knowledge through educational opportunities off the campus. Then we have Griggs Elementary School. So Griggs Elementary School had their third annual talent show on April 26th. The students did a great job. On May 8th, there will be the All Set for K meeting at 9 o'clock. They are excited for their field day coming up on June 4th and 5th, and teachers and students are busy preparing for the end of the year assessments. Good luck to them. And with that, I turn it over to Tyler.
Thank you, Keelan. Tonight I'll be covering Knott's Island Elementary. The last full month of school is full of excitement and learning. Next year's kindergarten wood duck class will have their All Set for School on May 7th. Students are having the opportunity to expand their education through field trips to hear NC Jazz Band at the high school, and K through 2 is visiting the Learning Barge, where they will participate in a STEM field investigation. The fifth graders will be visiting the middle school. They will have an opportunity to see what middle school life will be like next year. At the school, we are looking forward to the walkathon tomorrow, the Southland fundraiser on the 11th, a visit from Creed's Library on the 17th, and preschool graduation on May 23rd. Next up, we have Jarvisburg Elementary. We are gearing up for the end of the year. On April 17th, we have had a record turnout for the first annual STEAM night. Our students did everything from designing to building a roller coaster to stacking index cards to building the highest tower. It was a blast. We also celebrated our Leaders of the Month with a pizza and Sunday party. We also held the first annual kickball tournament for our PBIS reward at the end of the grading period. The kids pulled together in the true spirit of teamwork to make it a fun and memorable day. Today, our 3rd and 5th graders experienced the coastal life with an in-house field trip from the North Carolina Coastal Investigation Education Foundation. We are gearing up for our Ready, Set, School meeting for upcoming kindergartners on May 9th at 10 a.m. We are excited to share that Miss Helen Taylor applied for it and received a grant from Currituck Kids to purchase Ozobots for our students at JES. JES will honor its teachers the week of May 7th to May 11th for Teacher Appreciation Week. We love our educators. Thank you for all that you do. Finally, we have Sharborough Elementary. Sharborough students have been heavy in competition this past month. We took home 2nd place in the county Battle of the Books competition, and many of our students brought home gold during the Special Olympics held in Elizabeth City. We have a lot of events on the horizon. Tomorrow's field day, May 9th, is our All Set for K visit. May 10th is kindergarten muffins with moms, and May 31st is kindergarten donuts with dads. K through 3 reading 3D assessments begin May 7th, and 3rd through 5th's EOGs begin May 30th. Make sure your kids get a good night of rest and breakfast so they can perform their best on their test. With that, I move it over to Colin.
Thank you, Tyler. Tonight I'll be covering Moyock Elementary. Moyock Elementary is making its mark on innovation, 21st century connections, and student leadership. On the April 25th early release day, the entire school participated in its first ever Innovative Club Day. This was an opportunity for staff members to share their passions with students, and our Panther leader kiddos got to choose which passion suited them best, choosing between STEM, physical fitness, knitting, gardening, drama, arts and crafts, catapult construction, puzzles and logic, singing, and our first ever student-led dance club. Dance club was begun by 5th grader Rosalind Marcotte. I really hope I pronounced that name right. This trial run initiative is just a preview of next school year's leadership journey. Parents and community members, if you have a passion to share and you're interested in helping next school year, please see Mrs. Kelly for more details. #learn, play, dream, grow into leaders. Next we have Currituck County Middle. At Currituck County Middle, we are busy wrapping up our barbecue fundraiser, which will be picked up on Friday, May 18th. Tickets can still be purchased for $10 a plate at the CCMS front office. Mrs. Flores's class recently went to Pasquotank High School where they competed in the Special Olympics. Our students return home with medals and a great sense of achievement. Spring is in the air at CCMS, where we held our annual Spring Fling on April 13th. Students danced the night away and had a great time. We are all looking forward to our 8th grade formal dance on June 1st, as well as our 2nd annual Evening of Excellence held on June 5th. Time to recognize all of our students' amazing achievements. I pass it back to you.
Thank you. And thank you, Jenna, Keely, Tyler, and Colin, especially Jenna and Tyler for their last report. Thank you.
Signing off.
Okay, next item on the agenda. Consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
Field trips.
Oh, field trips, okay, yeah. Go ahead, field trips.
Thank you, Dr. Diamond. Just two to announce. One has already happened. The Currituck High School golf team went to the regional playoffs, and I'm pleased to announce, if you haven't seen in the newspaper yet, that Nicholas Lapham had qualified for the state championships. And so we had the girls golf team at the state championships, and now we have an individual male golfer at the state championships. So we've got some good links activities going on at the high school.
His brother may be going as well.
It wasn't.
Nicholas and Nathan.
They both made it. They were both at the regionals, but the paper said that just Nicholas advanced.
Okay.
Yeah, they were both at the first one. Yeah, and then JP Knapp, they will be going to FBLA National Leadership Conference in Baltimore, July 28th or June 28th to July 2nd.
All right, next item, consent agenda. Do I have a motion for approval?
Is that minus,
Yes, we changed the agenda
Yes, sir.
earlier.
Copy.
Yep.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda. Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next item is the 2018-19 capital outlay budget that Mr. Currituck wanted pulled out of the agenda.
Yes, I'd like to have an opportunity to ask that we get a little bit more clear numbers on some of these items. So what I would hope is get our bid process, if we're going to have not bids, but 3 estimates or what have you, done so that the numbers can be a little bit more refined. I'd also like to look into what it would realistically cost to possibly add the greenhouse and the barn for Miss Rose. I would also like to have the opportunity during this, while we set it aside, to go around and speak with the other 8 schools that I didn't visit today and see if there's some needs that aren't listed. JP Knapp, I'd like to see them get in their chemistry and science classes at their workstations. I'd like them to see that we could have the ability to have the burners without having to use the individual butane bottles. I'd like to see that we could have, forgive me, I don't have my notes with me, but there was that, and, this is a simple fix. At their outlets, at their stations, when they plug in these electric heating elements, they require, I looked on the back, it was 1,000 watts. And what's happening is there's 3 sinks on each side of the room. And when they plug up 6 of those, they're popping the circuits. I'd like to see, and I noticed one in the hallway, an abandoned popcorn 20 amp designated circuit. I'd like to see that electricians could possibly get together, or whomever, and accommodate those outlets so that they can use those devices, 6 of them at one time, so they can run a full lab. So I'd like to look into those things for that school. I'd like to look into the possibility of a greenhouse and a barn. I'm not making any promises, but I'd like to have some refined numbers, and I'd like to do due diligence so that we are providing the best tools to provide a high-level service. So I'd ask that we not act on this right now. I make a motion that we don't.
Well, I may be mistaken, but didn't Mr. Mullins say he got 3 bids for every project there was, and he usually went with the lowest bidder or the lowest responsible bidder?
Yes, sir. I did hear him say that. If that's the case, those numbers aren't indicative of the numbers that are on the sheet. I'd like a little bit more refined numbers, and I'd also like to have an opportunity to add the other things for consideration for these other schools.
Any other comments?
I'll add something. Sorry, Dr. Dobney, but I'll add something since Ms. Trussell wasn't able to be here this evening. Our capital outlay budget that we present to the board, it would be irresponsible if we put the exact amounts next to each item. We always put a cushion, if you will, in some of the items because there might be unexpected costs, and we don't want to have to go look for money if there's cost overruns on top of the bid. So there's always some extra money on there, and then if it comes away cheaper, then we can reallocate the savings after the budget's been approved and the projects have been done. So
do you think we could reallocate enough money to get the barn and the greenhouse?
I'd have to get firmer numbers on what a barn and greenhouse would cost. But if we're talking about $75,000 to $80,000, we actually we never spend the whole 1.4 to begin with. So there is some contingency money already. And then, again, as the projects come and go and the bills come in, there's always some money left over. And so as we add that to the other contingency money, it's very possible.
Plus the fact that there was some suggestions about possibly
community.
The ag extension being able to, yeah.
Right, exactly. Just as a reminder, though, another thing that, I said about the original requests and then, where we ended up, we've got $500,000 plus of priorities that came from the buildings or the departments that weren't included in the capital outlay. So, we have to consider all the requests and see where they come in priority order.
And I think we need to be mindful that that Mr. McMullen is in the schools, and that these requests and these numbers have come from not just him, but from our building principals and things that they need and realize that they want.
Yeah. If you actually look at the document, that maybe not tonight's document because that's a PDF, it's a copy, but if you look at what we send out in the email version, off to the side, you'll see some other notes. And, when you're talking about contingency money and savings from projects, we're actually able to address some of the needs that were on this year's capital outlay budget with next year's capital outlay budget with money that's left over because we didn't use all the money that was in the budget from last year. So we can start putting out those bids and getting those contractors on site now into the summer, and we'll be using the current year's money until June 30th, and then we'll roll over to whatever we approve for next year's capital outlay budget.
When I look at this budget, I mean, a lot of this is things that need to be done ever so often, and repairs and what have you, replacements. But, the barn and the greenhouse, as we were told earlier, and I think it's true because I was a student when that greenhouse was moved up there, they have definitely been worth the money, the greenhouse has.
Sure.
And so I feel like both of these would be a good investment, and I have seen firsthand what the kids are getting out of this, not just what Abby mentioned, but I see responsibility, plant sales. It's amazing what these kids do in addition to the classroom. They do carry it a step further. So
I'd also say that, look, I think that's important. It's going to be a big cost. Some of the stuff that needs to be done to make the experience better, though, isn't big cost. Adding a few dedicated circuits in a science class is minuscule to this $1.4 million. I found that out walking around talking to people today. I would just ask that we have an opportunity, like Mr. Mullins, he's in the buildings. I like to have more of an opportunity to go in the buildings and talk with the people and see what the needs really are.
That's fine. As a clarification point, though, the thing about the circuits, especially if they're done by our electricians, that's something that wouldn't become part of this budget. That would be a small enough cost that it would just come out of the maintenance budget, and we
come
can
out of
do
repair
that.
parts.
Yeah,
Not
repairs.
at this school, but at other schools where we're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to have repairs done, some of the stuff might piggyback on some of the work that's already being done with the contractors that are there. I can't say because I haven't done my due diligence, but that's my concern. You got one contractor in there, you're spending $75,000 to do something that they could probably maybe do something else while they're there with that.
We haven't got any.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
don't-
I just
don't-
want-
I'm really
those things are-
surprised. I'm
those
really
things are paramount.
surprised about those things you mentioned in that science lab, because I remember as a teacher, you know, we were to turn in work orders when something wasn't working.
Exactly.
So, and things were usually addressed pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
So-
I don't know what's going on. They told me the building had been retrofitted from what it originally was. Maybe, you know, they've expanded what they're doing. I just know that they can't have a full lab right now,
Right. Well, they need that.
and that's concerning.
But you're saying it would come out of a different budget anyway, so this isn't even.
The electrical parts, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm looking at, is the
Repair
last
parts.
page, the technology capital outlay request of
Yeah, but
40.
that's technology.
Technology, yeah, but wiring upgrades, do you think that?
That's for technology.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of different types of wiring things, and some things, you know, our folks are capable of getting done by themselves, and some other things, if the project's too big, then we do contract it out.
I would hate to see Mr. Mullins duplicate his efforts, since he's already gone through every school
Yeah.
every week.
And
You
that's
know,
what we hired
Plus,
him
we
to
want
do.
this passed so that they can do the work in the summer, because that's when most of the capital outlay gets done. Now, if you see one or two that you think's out of line, Mr. Currituck, you know, I'll be glad to have him check on that.
Yes, sir. I haven't had the opportunity since receiving this document to go to all 10 schools. I told you earlier what my finding was from the 2 schools I visited. I don't want to rehash it. At the end of the day, I think there's more things that need to be on this list, and maybe they're not in the correct prioritization as the way I see them.
Yeah, but we
You know,
hired him.
I'm not casting any blame. I'm just telling you what I saw.
Yeah, but I think he said today in our earlier session that he had a list a mile long, so I'm sure it's on there.
I'm sure he's prioritized.
I just don't know
and
how
we've
every
hired him
elementary
to
school
do
could
that.
be charged $4,000 for mulch. How convenient that
That's
that
an
number is the
estimate.
same at
He
every school.
explained that to you
Yeah, I
today
heard
in the
him, and I
work
didn't like the
session.
explanation, quite
Well,
honestly.
Then that's,
Yeah, because if it's not that much, say
If
it
it's
comes in
not
at
that much.
2,500.
I went out there, there wasn't 12 inches of mulch needed. The explanation was it was 12 inches, it had to be a certain style mulch, and there was a lot of other stuff that he said, but
He
we
said
don't.
it had to
does
be
have to
topped
be.
off at 12 inches.
Yes, and I understand that, and I'm familiar with, you know, calculating a cubic yard of mulch.
Is it possible to move forward with this and then come back and add to?
well, this is a working document anyway, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yes.
What this does, and Dr. Dobney said part of it, what this does is, if we approve this, it gives us a chance with projects that definitely need contractors. It gives us a chance to get on their work schedule for the summer. At the same time, if we put this out there, this gives the county a working document to look at about the amount of money that we can really use. And so on this document, whether we agree 100% with the estimates or the items that are on here, it shows that we have at least $1.4 million worth of needs in the buildings, and then we can revise, and then as extra money, you know, becomes available because a project comes in, you know, under bid, or the materials don't cost as much, we have money we can put towards other items.
Well, let me ask this, and maybe I'll amend the motion. Will we be alerted as this living document progresses, if there's savings or not? Will we be identified, we'll be alerted, hey, guess what? We just saved 200,000 or 50,000 or 50 cents.
If that's the board's pleasure, we can make that part of the monthly budget report. We can put that in there and say that we have other projects, you're interested in how much money was saved this month or over the summer, and then we can put that out there, and then we can talk about other priorities.
You know, usually they go to the next priority in line that they weren't able to fund in the initial budget.
Right.
Well, some of the things that I've mentioned earlier, I didn't hear that they were even on the list, so I find that concerning. But
Now, are you talking about gas hookup for Bunsen burners, or?
I'm talking about electrical, I'm talking about the possibility of gas hookup from Bunsen burners, I'm talking about brick repair around foundations, I'm talking about a lot of stuff that I saw. Talking about handicap rails and ramps, and, I'm not trying to rehash it all, I'm just saying there's things that aren't on this list that I visited 2 schools, I identified, and I'd like to know where they are on the list, and I wanted to know some clarity on the numbers.
Well, I remember a long time ago, the board used to go around and visit with Willis. And I think that was a good opportunity for, things like you're talking about to come to light. And Willis would explain, this is on the 5-year plan, or I think I remember this. And
we've inherited all those replacement and repair timelines that he had, those charts, and we've advanced them forward.
But we haven't been on any board tours.
You can go on we can take you on as many as you want.
I mean, maybe if we went around with Mr. Mullins and, some of this would.
That'd be great. Yeah. You want to do that? We did the CTE tour. I remember that. We did that one. We did the board tours. We can do a board tours to every building, and then we can do board tours just in general, and then he can be there as well.
I mean, I'm just asking, should we, I don't know if they were beneficial. I wasn't, what do you think, Dr. Dobney? Were you on the board when they took place, or?
Yeah, and we were going to have one that coming summer where Willis was going to show us the work that was done.
Yeah, we had one the year before.
And unfortunately,
And he
Willis died.
Yeah.
So, but, it's fine, that we can go around and look and see what needs to be done and what has been done.
But in the meantime, you need this for,
to
get started on some of these things.
If you don't ask us to work on this document, we can't move forward with the projects.
All right, let me amend my motion. I'd like to at least add to this list the electrical outlets and the JP Knapp chemistry classes, which I think that it should be able to be found in the savings that we're told that's out there, and look into the other things in those labs. And if we find enough savings, try to accommodate Miss Rose. I'll
That would be
I'll
Abby,
amend my
not
motion.
Janet.
Yeah, Miss Rose right there.
Right.
I didn't say Mrs. Rose, I said Miss. And so, and then we'll just go with it. But I would like to know, I don't think all the information is being communicated properly, and I don't know what the breakdown is, but maybe the people in the classes, the teachers aren't feeling comfortable to communicate them. I do not know.
Yeah, they're supposed to turn in any maintenance items that
And
they
believe
have
me.
or concerns.
And that
We
really
always
used to
turned
be on
in
the checklist.
Big list.
But.
Well, they're using, they're buying jugged water because they have to have distilled water. They don't have a distilling thing. They have one at the high school, I'm told, but they don't have one at this lab.
Did this particular teacher turn in these things?
I didn't ask that. I
but that's
can't
the
answer
thing.
that.
Yeah.
She
I
may
just
not.
know that it seemed a little concerning.
Yeah.
It seemed like I asked what the cost was for that. They didn't have it right this second because I was going to say, what's the cost for the improvement? What's the cost annually on what you're doing? And I could probably couple those two together and show you that it'd probably pay for itself in a very short amount of time.
But that's the only way they're going to know about it. The teachers need to inform the Mr. Mullins or whoever at the school.
I just know they need it,
Yeah.
and it seemed like a little bit of money when I'm looking at all this cost. So, and I'm not just trying to fight for one school. That's why I asked to go to all the schools first. But you guys don't want to do that. So what I'll say is, let's do that part, approve it. I'll visit the rest of the schools, and I'll text you all the photos of the stuff that I see, and you can prioritize it however you want.
I think, I know I've been to all the schools, but I probably don't have the working knowledge you do of this sort of thing, but
There again, we have
have
hired.
Mr. Mullins.
We have hired experts in their field.
Yes, ma'am.
We need to rely on their expertise
Okay.
to report to us on these items. But if a teacher, you have to say, the teacher has the responsibility also to report any items in his or her classroom that needs to be.
Certainly for instruction.
And if I'm there, and I'm supposed to turn a blind eye to it?
No, you're not supposed to turn a blind eye, but just say, yes, I'll check into this, and then get
Okay.
Mr.
I'm talking
Mullins
about
and
what I
say,
view without anybody pointing out to me.
yeah, that's fine. Just go to him directly and say, hey, look, can you check this out for me and tell me what we need to do?
Okay.
I've done that on several
Yeah,
occasions.
me too.
Okay.
So just, we have an open communication with everyone, and just as a friend to friends, say, look, I want you to look at the steps at NAP or the steps at the high school, whatever
In fact,
it may be.
I asked Mark on the front steps earlier this year, and they were taken care of, and I've asked him about a few things. So truthfully, I'm not trying to knock him, but he even said that it was a laundry list so long, and he's overwhelmed at times, and so I was just conveying what I saw.
Okay.
That's all. You know?
And what I'll say is, I'm glad you said the things about, you brought up some steps that were cracking or some,
Foundation.
things that needed repaired, and we repaired those. Those didn't come out of capital outlay. That's our repair budget, which is a different one, so we can take care of some of your requests out of a different budget rather than this
I just
one.
know that the commissioner said that they had a surplus of capital outlay money.
Right.
And that if we could find ways to fund some of the stuff in our system through capital outlay,
Right.
it might free up money in the other portion of the general budget.
Right.
Now, that's what I'm attempting to do.
Oh,
That's
well-
what they said to try to do, and
Right,
that's what I'm
but,
trying to do.
and there's,
Well,
and
they've
what we
already
have to
given
do
us
is.
an extra 400,000 this
They
year
might.
Right.
If
in
they-
capital outlay.
But if they understand the need, they might strike a different tone. That's all
Give
I'm
us
saying.
even more.
They
And,
might.
yeah, and the only thing I'm saying is there are specific definitions on what you can use capital outlay for, and so what we're doing is we're putting as much as we can into capital outlay.
Because of what
and
they said.
Because of what it says it has to be, and then the repair cost piece is another total definition.
Operating.
And so we're separating those out.
Different
And you're right,
monies.
what was in the Evergreen report was, we had $1 million, we tried to get to $1 million, let's say $1.3 million, and so 300,000 was taken out of operating expenses. We tried to get off of that mindset this year, especially since they went to 1.4 and our capital outlay items are here. But we still didn't get to the 2 million that we had in requests. That's what the presentation was.
So,
Are we gonna have a work session?
can we put the outlets in? Can we get the electrical
Got 'em
fixed?
out.
Yeah, that can be taken out of repair parts, and our own people do that. That doesn't come out of capital outlay. The same with checking out the gas for the Bunsen burner, because I don't know, what the state
Yeah, I don't
has us
know.
do for the
Correct.
propane
Yep.
outside.
And,
Right.
but the outlet situation, from my knowledge of what I've looked at in the building, I didn't climb up in the ceiling tile, but I'm quite certain that could be addressed.
Do we need a second to the motion so that
We
the,
would need Mr. Currituck to withdraw part
Well,
of his.
I
oh,
amended it.
he did amend, but that he put, I don't know, can we put all those things in it that he said?
Just want to take care of the outlets.
Well, I guess,
Get a propane for Bunsen burners, get the,
Yeah.
electrical crew to, switch out a couple of
Which
those
those are not
breakers.
things, okay.
yeah,
and he said, look into the barn and the greenhouse.
right.
Okay. I second that motion.
I'm understanding how Abby knew this was budget time and that we got the money from the commissioners. I'm understanding now how that happened.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, next, information items. We will have a work session June 28th at the NAP Professional Learning Center. Time will be, determined because we also have year-end closeouts then. Next Board of Education meeting will be here, and the time, once again, to be determined. And we may have a closed session because of interviews for the new student board members
Oh, okay.
on that day.
So we need to hold that day kind of open.
The 28th.
But Dr. Donovan, if I'm remembering correctly, that meeting is typically an earlier in the day
Right. Right.
setup. Okay,
That's year-end closeout, and we usually do it in the morning.
right.
You mentioned student board member interviews. Has that application process closed?
Yes. And we have 2 from each school, Yvette?
Yvette, do we know about, is this available to us all day on the 28th, this room?
I'll check and see.
Okay.
If not, we can just have it over at the Professional Learning Center.
Okay.
She's available, since Mr. Williford would not be available. But we can-
Okay.
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 Okay, next item, board members and superintendent comments. Start with you, Mr. Stefanik.
Thank you, Dr. Dobney. Just wanted to let the board know, because of the policy that you approved last board meeting, that the teacher contracts that you approved tonight, some of the teachers had 1-year contracts, some of the teachers had 2-year contracts, and some of the more veteran teachers had 4-year contracts. And so you put that policy into action with multi-year contracts. And since they stopped career status or tenure, this is the first time that multi-year contracts have been available for teachers again. So on behalf of them, I'll thank you for that.
Mr. Currituck?
Well, a couple things. I'd like to also thank the board for allowing the elementary schools to have full day work days so that they could bring all their staff from around the county and have more impact and less half days for the students. And I appreciate that. I think it's going to work out well. I visited Moyock Elementary. It was a book writing exercise in the library where a lot of students had written and illustrated their own stories.
Authors Club.
Yeah. And I sat down with 3 of them. One of them, Jackson, and I'm sorry, I'd have to pull my phone out to get all my notes, but nonetheless, it was really very, very, very well thought out. The kids really put a lot of energy into it. They're very excited. And not only did they write their own stories, but they illustrated them and colored them, and they would just sit there and tell you all about it. They really connected with that. It was a really good project. I visited with I visited with Knott's Island Elementary today. I spoke with a couple people over there. Mrs. Corza wasn't there. She was over here at a work session. And so I missed her. And then I visited with JP Knapp and saw a lot of good things. I didn't just see the outlets that I like repaired. I saw a lot of good things. I really did. Very nice school. Everybody acting very polite. I do my surprise drop-in, so it wasn't like they, cleaned up or tried to impress me. I went into one of the classes that was a substitute teacher, and you wouldn't have known it any different the way the students were acting and performing. They were not acting any different. So anyhow, with that, I'll just say God bless Currituck County. Congratulations, Tyler and Jenna, and I'm sure you'll do well.
Janet?
Well, let's see. I'd like to congratulate the Moyock Middle School FFA on being a newly chartered group. Congratulations to Johnny Wheeler and his track team. They recently did a great job at the conference tournament. Had several to get individual conference champions, I believe, and they're going to advance to regionals. We had 4 young ladies there that broke a school record, and Mr. Wheeler was named Coach of the Year for girls and boys, so hats off to him. I attended the regional rally with the high school FFA. I think there were maybe 12 or 14 schools that were involved in that. Currituck won 7 first-place awards and 4 second place. All of those teams will advance to state competition in June, so that was a good thing. Next week is Teacher Appreciation Week, and I hope that we've all had a teacher who's been influential in our lives, so be sure to thank a teacher. I'm thankful for all of our wonderful teachers in Currituck County and all of our other hardworking staff.
Karen?
Yeah, a lot of things happening this time of year. I was able to attend the Amore conference that was held at JP Knapp Early College High School. My daughter, Diane Davenport, hosts the event every year, and it's an unplugged event. It's where our young ladies attend the event from noon until about 11 p.m. that night. And they have self-defense, they have yoga, self-awareness, art, sewing, Zumba. I participated in a couple of those. I'm not going to tell you which ones. But a wonderful event. Spaghetti dinner, snacks, and all of the items that the young ladies won were all donated by our local businesses throughout the county. And I just want to thank our local businesses. Central Elementary, I was able to attend the field day at Central and watch my granddaughter win the Frisbee contest. And the three-legged race.
Oh.
And that was a lot of fun. I went to Currituck County High School today, and I didn't know Hunter, our dog, was going to be there, but he was there. And they actually set him up. They had a glass container that they had some residue of drugs. And so I went in the classroom with the officer, and Nathan Large was there too, and watched him. And sure enough, he went over to that book bag, and it had the jar in it, and he sat right down. And it was something else to see him in action. So I'm just thankful that we have him throughout our schools. Missy, I was able to go purchase some of your beautiful flowers that your students have planted and grown over the past several months, and I hope I can keep them just as beautiful as they were when I bought them last Saturday. But both you and Mr. Mead, you do an outstanding job with our youth, and I'm so thankful that you're here in Currituck. Think of anything else? Tyler, Jenna, it's been a pleasure to work with you both. You are going to go far in life. There's no doubt, and all I ask is that you stay in touch with us and never forget your roots here in small Currituck County. You're going out with a bang, to some big cities, so it's going to be a big change for you, but we're very proud of you. One more thing, I was able to view the Currituck County High School prom at the Hilton Garden Inn last Saturday before the students arrived. And I'd like to thank everyone that was involved with decorating that facility and putting that on for our students. It was wonderful. And some great things are happening throughout our county. Try to go to as many events as you can and support our schools. Thank you.
Ms. Kraft?
Yes, I visited all of our middle and high schools this month, but for the elementary schools, I participated in 2 events that they were all involved in. One, I was the moderator for the Battle of the Books for all of our elementary schools. That was held in Griggs, and it's always a great time, and I've been asked to do that moderation for several years, and I always enjoy it. But I was especially excited because Central Elementary School won the contest, won the Battle of the Books. And the interesting thing about that is they only had 3 members of their team. I believe I'm right that they can have up to 12 members. Is that correct? Correct, yes. And they had 3 members, so they answered double the amount of questions that anyone else, any other team would have answered. So I want to give Miss Ross and Kelly Ching, Lily Hill, and Madison Knoll a great thank you for all their hard work, because that is hard work. I did visit Currituck Ag Day. The students did a fantastic job teaching our 3rd graders, and Missy Ewan and I can't call his name.
Mr. Meads.
Daniel did a great job. I was really excited about that. I stopped in to see Mr. Wooten's auto shop class and bought some plants, and went to a baseball game with Currituck County Middle School and Moyock Middle School. Tyler and Jenna, you're going to be missed a lot. I'm sad to see y'all go. And I do just want to tell you that I attend the Currituck Ministers Council for Education once a month, and we are so blessed in our county that the churches are willing to go and be a partnership with different schools, and they come in, and sometimes they just give our teachers paper and pencils. Sometimes they bring in treats. Sometimes it's for the kids, but they're always looking for ways that they can help and participate in making our schools great. The greatest thing that they do is they pray for our students and our teachers every day. So that's really, so if you're a member of a church that doesn't come to that, if you would contact me, I'd put you in touch with whoever it is. We won't be meeting for the summer, so we'll start back again in August, but I'd love to have your church join us. Thank you.
Dr. Dobney, can I add one thing? Just one thing. Just well, she brought the ministerial council, and it reminded me of something else.
What?
Ministerial council.
No, you brought up your council, and it reminded me of another council.
Oh, okay.
I just want to recognize the Currituck Education Foundation. In its infancy, they handed out their first grants to teachers this year, and they did kind of a neat thing. They had enough money for, I'm going to say 4, but they also had some grants of materials.
Like mini grants, yeah.
Well, what happened is Cameron is on the Education Foundation from the Extension Center.
Uh-huh.
And apparently some of the things the teachers requested, the Extension Center has to loan or to sign out. And so when they couldn't give out 6 or 7 or 8, grants from the Education Foundation, they gave out 4 grants of things the Extension Center didn't have, and then they awarded the materials on loan for as long as the teachers needed them for about 3 or 4 others. And so the Education Foundation still looking for donations, still looking for members, and so if you want to join, that money just gets circulated right back for either materials or activities for our schools. And so they have started, and that's what I wanted to announce. They had started giving back to the school system, and that was awesome. Now I'm finished.
Thank you. To me, it's been a pleasure to watch Bailey and Brittany, 2 of the girls that were on the state championship golf team, grow up, because they play right there at the course where I live, and I get to see them come by a couple times every day, and they're practicing, and Lord knows they deserved it because they practice hard and a lot. And then Nick, got to watch him grow up too. And I can't remember when the state tournament is. Might be this coming Monday, but he's going to the state tournament.
I've signed the field trip form already, but I can't remember the date.
Okay. Also, the hunter safety, I was talking to Daniel Meads, who was the hunter safety coach of the year, and back when I observed one of the matches, he was telling me about these piles of dirt sitting back there, and he's been trying to clean up and make the hunter safety place, a lot nicer. And so I took it upon myself to get somebody to go back, and they're supposed to be leveling that dirt out so it doesn't look so detracting back there. Let's see. Also made 2 trips to Missy's greenhouse to get plants. So. Let's see. Once again, I'd just like to remind the students that, they wouldn't have proms off campus if it wasn't for me. I was the first high school principal that talked the Board of Education into having an off-campus prom, the very first ever.
I bet you had to promise a lot.
Promise that they'd be good.
Yeah. And then you just hold your breath.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but anyway, it's something I've enjoyed over the years, seeing that, most all the proms now are held off campus.
I've got something on that too. NAP. NAP had theirs at the Pines Golf Course,
right.
And that's the first activity I've been to at the golf course since the Y took over, and a very, very nice night, very classy, prom, and the workers there from the Y or the Pines or whoever their employers, they did a very nice job, helping out our students and staff that were there.
Okay, and I guess lastly, Jenna and Tyler, it's been a pleasure working with you. Stop back anytime. We'll get an extra seat down on the end for you.
Yeah, come visit.
But good luck to you and in the future and all your endeavors. And I did see number 3 did score a goal in soccer.
Oh, yay, Jenna.
Right.
Was that your first one, or
Might have been, I'm not sure.
you can't remember?
It wasn't your first, or you would remember.
She scores too many to keep.
Great. And with that, do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second?
Have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Meeting adjourned.